K-Beach Radio is kbeach.org and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. It's Mornings on the Beach. Live. It's actually Mornings on the Port.
Yes, it is.
Oh, nice.
Live from the Port of Los Angeles
Yes.
at the LA Radio Studios, right here at Ports to Call Village.
beautiful
We
out
are
here.
sitting on the water, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are.
We moved just about a mile and a half up the beach, and here we are. It is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. A great day for LA. Of course, it's our big celebration weekend. Oscars are in town. We are the focus of the world this weekend, and they're saying it's going to rain. Oh, no. We'll get into that coming on up. My name is Danny Lemos. You're one of your co-hosts with the mostest. And today on the show, you want to borrow a shelter dog for a walk? There may be an app for that. That's coming on up. Also, Chargers, right? And Rams could be right next to IKEA, right up the freeway. We're talking about a new stadium they're going to build. All the information coming your way.
Nice.
And latest breaking news from the Port of Los Angeles as well coming on up. And around the table, let's go, because we actually have a table.
Nice. Papa D, Dale Lendrum here with you on a fine Friday morning. We got a special guest with us in the studio this morning, Mr. Brian Borax,
Right.
a communication studies major from Cal State Long Beach. Going to talk a little about the Long Beach break wall.
Everybody, this is Miz.
Good morning.
morning.
It's Charley Sharp and live from the port. And Miss, give me some of that light, man. You're taking all the light.
No.
If you're watching right now on live
Yeah.
stream, you'll be able to see, because
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, she dressed and did us all well.
hot pink, baby, hot pink girl.
And she's in the spotlight. I absolutely
I
love that.
know she's grabbing all
I'm
the light.
always in the spotlight.
You know, she brings her own spotlight.
I do. I bring a crew.
We've
Takes
got
a village.
we've got a big day for you.
We do?
We're going to get younger on this very show. I have
What?
Linda
Oh,
LaFave
sweet.
with me, and she's going to make everyone younger.
She
Oh,
is.
nice.
She
Oh,
is,
then I'm gonna be
including
in
you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we only have an hour,
How
so
does she
yeah,
do that?
yeah.
Does she do it with makeup or special effects?
Both.
Okay, we'll get to the top of the show. Let's start this morning. Yesterday on campus, there was a panel forum sponsored by the Daily 49er newspaper, and it was regarding the upcoming USU fee referendum, which is about improving our USU. And this was a decision that was sent up to the chancellor a long time ago, who sent it back to us and said, let the students vote on this.
Yeah.
Let them decide what their future should be regarding the University Student Union. We have a building that's 40 years old, falling apart, and we know it because we're down in the basement when the air conditioning doesn't work, which happens regularly.
working right now.
We left him out there back at
Oh,
our
yes.
K-Beach radio studio, anchoring the broadcast today.
Yes.
Mr. Christian Wiseman. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning.
It is warm in that studio, huh? That's
Yes,
why
it
we
is.
left and left
Yeah.
you there.
I can hear him
see.
sweating right now.
It's a beautiful, actually, it's a kind of an overcast day. It's a regular LA February day here, and the ports are still today. We'll get into that coming on up. We're talking about the USU fee referendum panel discussion. It was interesting. Questions were asked. Both sides were represented. There were some folks there who really are against it, against students paying any more money than they're actually
Right.
paying right now. And there was a lot of misinformation that we found. At least I was there. I was a witness, and I heard a lot of information there. It was really inaccurate. And we were represented by our student government. Vanessa Mendoza, I believe, was there, and
Yes.
Nayarit Bagdasian was there. And they got back and forth with members of the SQE who took questions from the students who were sitting in the hall, and specifically students. We stayed out of it. All the staff and employees, that aren't students, stayed out of the discussion because it's really your discussion if you're a student at Cal State in Long Beach. And it was interesting. Some of their points. A lot of the points that were in the negative go to spending any money on students' fees, on books. I mean, it's tough. Members of the SQB were represented, and La Raza were there, and they were saying that the DREAM Act was a long coming dream, and it's now at Cal State Long Beach, but that asking them to come up with more money for student fees was a little difficult situation for them. We heard them loud and clear. We heard what people said. There should not be an increase in fees for students, but this is not something that we're taking on like a light discussion. This is about our building, of which all the students are stockholders. So if it was Coca-Cola, we would be talking to the stockholders presently about the future of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing. There was a lot of discussion that maybe we should have students from 2018 maybe I guess the suggestion was to poll them in grade school and see if they wanted a USU fee upgrade. But we're talking reality.
Yeah. So, a couple of the things that I'd like to kind of share with everybody is that first, let us embrace the fact that when it comes to this proposed fee increase, it's going to be decided through the democratic process, as Danny was talking about earlier, and that is that the students will have a right to vote on something which affects them directly. There are a number of fees, and we certainly know that tuition increases aren't up to the students. In the case of the USU fee referendum, this is up to the students. So first and foremost, I would like our listeners and those of you on campus to really embrace the fact that we are ensuring that you have a democratic process that you can engage in to decide whether or not you want this fee increase to take place. The Students for Quality Education is a very active group on campus, and they're very committed to ensuring that students do have a quality education, but they're not having to pay too much for that education. And I can understand that position.
It's a legitimate position.
But I think they could also do a better job of researching all sides of the USU referendum and coming out there and stating their case more, factually, if you will, as opposed to trying to play off of everyone's emotions.
It was definitely the passion card yesterday.
And the fee increase, as opposed to, really knowing what's going on. Now, I've shared with everybody on a number of occasions that I would not argue that the timing is not good for the student, but as I've stated previously, it's not us that's setting the time, it's the building itself. Yeah. The failing infrastructure is what's making this a timely matter.
Anybody who was there back in the summer when the Carl's Jr. pipes broke and it flooded the first floor understands the need for us to do some superior maintenance.
Yeah.
And if we wait, it's only going to cost more. I think that's an important point.
That's a very important point. And, I would say this, that one of the big questions going around campus right now is the question of whether or not it's ethical for us to make this decision that will impact future students is what certain groups are saying. And so I just want to clarify something right here. It is ethical for us. This process has been found to be just and legal, and the official process as per the state of California itself. So we have legal footing to proceed in this matter. 2, the students that came before us made the very same decisions that we are faced with today. So there is an ethical precedent within the USU and the students of Cal State Long Beach. This is how we have kept the USU upgraded over its 40-year lifespan. It's through making decisions that would impact current and future students. The third thing is there was an opinion piece printed in the 49er yesterday that was, it contained some inaccuracies in my opinion. And one of the things it was talking about, you were touching on that earlier, Danny, is that the students who are going to have to pay are not the students who are here now, but the students to come, those who are in grades 8 through 12, for example. Well, the fact is that the current time that it takes a student to graduate from Cal State Long Beach is 5 to 6 years, with that number being closer to 6 years. What that means is our current freshmen may see all 3 phases of the USU project completed. And our sophomore and junior population are more than likely to see 1 to 2 of those phases in the project completed. So the myth that we're making decisions for students who haven't even got here yet isn't completely true. The fact is that a large percentage of our students will be here as different phases of the project are implemented.
And there's lots of information. The vote is next, Wednesday and Thursday.
That's correct.
Students will see the ballot Wednesday morning at midnight in their box. Please vote if you see it in yours, and inform yourself. CSULB /ASI is where you can get the information, all of it coming up, and also pay attention to KBH Radio. We'll give you updates as well, and then we'll hopefully see an opinion piece printed in response to yesterday's article.
Yeah, because I just think it's in the best interest of our students to know both sides of the issue and to have both sides of the issue presented in a manner that is fair and equitable and above board and factual, not to print untruths in a campus publication for students to read. So I hope they print my response to the opinion on Monday.
I read it. I think it's thoughtful and it's accurate.
I'm not advocating for or against in my piece or right now for that matter. All I'm asking for is that students just get out there and vote. You know what I mean? And vote based upon the facts. And ask yourself, what is in the best interest of the current students here and our students of the future?
Now, just taking
because we're benefiting from people who made the same decision 20 years ago, 40 years ago, in the same manner. They were thinking about us in the future. It's our turn to think about other students in the future.
Absolutely. And I think we have 2 students here in our crowd right now, Dale and Ms. Can I put you on blast for a second? And sorry, Brian is a student as well.
Yeah, Brian's like, I haven't graduated yet.
Yes or no? You voting yes or no?
I'm voting no.
Okay. And Brian?
I'll be voting yes.
Okay. And Dale?
And,
mind if I put you on blast?
I'm voting yes because I understand, you know, the importance of it and the big picture.
So it kind of looks like
I've researched my vote. For me, I'm satisfied with the yes vote.
I'm just wondering, have other means been explored as far as downsizing some things or streamlining some budgets? I don't know. I'm just not sure that I don't think everything has been explored enough to vote yet for this. I'd just like to see some other alternatives first.
And right there you see a microcosm of the student community, because those are the opinions. Like it's almost right here in this room, it's 2-1. And hopefully that represents both sides, and that you will find out the information you want. Ask another student. If you have questions, ask an administrator. Yeah. We will happily give you the information. And a lot of avenues were researched. This isn't something that was capricious and decided just last year. This has been in process for several years. And like I said, it went first to the chancellor for his permission. And he said, no, let the students decide. Let's get back to him. So
and we ultimately have the vote before us because of the high response we got from students in our 2011 and 2014 polls.
Right. It wasn't just, like I said, started yesterday. It didn't happen yesterday.
And I'm not saying that we don't need yes, that building really needs some restructure. There's a whole lot that needs to be done to it. Like I said, I just haven't really done the research per se to say yes to it. So
we're going to tie her down after the show, and we're going to give her some research.
Don't make promises that you're not going to keep, Danny.
Ms. is like threatening me with a good time.
Yeah. Let's get the tape out.
The other important news happening right here in Long Beach is the Port of Los Angeles, and that's the strike that we're hearing this morning on CBS Radio is reporting that there was a decision reached yesterday in negotiations. You know, Dan Perez, the Secretary of Labor, was sent by President Obama to our city yesterday to get something done about this. And you can see them from here. You can see the tankers offshore just hanging out.
A ton of them.
As I crossed the Vincent Thomas Bridge this morning, you could see them waiting at the docks. Nothing's happening. No cranes are moving. But anticipation of maybe that decision was reached. I heard this morning on KNX reporting that there was a decision reached, but then a person from Longshoremen and Warehouse Union said, we haven't ratified it. The membership has not seen it yet. So hopefully that could happen today, and this whole thing could get underway. We can start unloading these boats. This is amazing. There's so much just sitting here. Billions of dollars are sitting in, and the president's involved. He said if it doesn't happen by 3 p.m. today, you're getting on a plane with Dan, and you're going to come back to Washington, and we're going to take care of it.
And people don't realize this is affecting businesses that order this stuff that have to sell it to their customers. So they were interviewing a bunch of folks the other day on CNN, and it's affecting a lot of local businesses, and that will have a hit on our economy.
Sure, absolutely.
Maybe not right now, but 4 months from now, when that stuff is supposed to be sold and it's not there.
Yeah, and it's starting to. Christmas was affected. For sure.
It's not really the small business, the big businesses that are suffering. It's mostly the small businesses out there because they don't have ways to get their goods out to wherever they want to get them to the customer.
Well, the National Retail Federation is saying that this is costing the U.S. $2.1 billion a day.
Wow.
A day.
Wow.
But not only that, if they don't unload these ships pretty soon, Target's not going to be able to put up their Christmas display until July.
Well, they're saying that the summer clothes are all on there, so we're not going to get our new shorts.
It's going to be a naked summer summer in Southern California, baby.
But you know what? It's really impacting the Chinese New Year celebration.
Yeah.
That
okay.
it's really impacting them, and it's huge. Their New Year celebration is
Yes.
huge, like our Christmas and,
Right.
and our Thanksgiving.
I had no idea.
Oh, absolutely. And so, the things like the confetti and fireworks and, special dishes they make for the new year, they're not able to make it.
I just stopped when I heard my Speedos are still up in there. And I'm going to get them this year.
I mean, there are people who
crisis.
are really depressed about it, and
I would imagine
they're
so,
saying
yeah.
that,
Wow.
the costume, the huge lion costumes that they wear in the celebration, they're sitting out there on the freight.
We'll send Charlie out. Charlie, get this going.
Okay. Well, it's funny.
He's our go-to guy.
We were driving across the bridge, and I said to Dell, well, how many people do we have unemployed, right, and homeless people that are looking for work, right?
Right.
Yeah, there
I
you
bet I
go.
could have those things
See, I
unloaded in
told
a
you.
day or two.
I
I'm
told
telling
you.
you.
Well, they have this one Chinese food places. I guess it's like an importer exporter. He usually gets between 50 and 100 containers a week.
Wow.
He just got one container, and that's been over. And that one was by 2 months late.
And I wonder, we see how it's backing up here. But if we travel further
it's
down the
worse.
pipeline, how far back is it beginning to back up?
Oh, yeah.
In the water lanes coming across, at the ports over there.
There are people in sweatshots from China who have the day off.
I have a family member that works for Siva Logistics, and they print
there
out
you go.
maps that show exactly where the freights are.
Uh-huh.
It just looked like someone threw some confetti on the paper, and just it's
Wow.
crazy
They're
what's
all
out
waiting.
there right
So
now.
it looks like the Cal State Long Beach parking lot right now.
Yeah, worse.
It's easier to find a parking space out there on the water.
Right. Absolutely.
That was also big news this week on campus. And big news around us today.
Yeah.
The San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders, they might be parking in Carson.
Wow.
There's a
Yeah.
$1.7 billion stadium project that's being unveiled this morning, and it's actually kind of pretty. And I heard that the seats will be reversible, so there'll be Rams
Really?
colors,
Yeah.
Chargers colors on one day.
I thought you meant you
Rams
could
colors
turn
on the
around when
other.
the game was just bad or something. I didn't know what that meant. Like,
Well, not only that, it'll only take the blimp 20 seconds to get there.
yeah.
Hey, I never thought of that. But this is and a lot of
Yeah.
people are involved, and apparently the land has already been purchased. The acreage has been purchased, so we're just waiting to
Is
find
that
out.
that right off the 405?
I don't know.
I
wonder.
think that's what it is.
Yeah.
All I could think
Kind of
about.
by the
Yeah.
Carson Center there, right?
Say it again,
Yeah.
Christian. Oh, I
I
thought.
don't know about the Raiders though. I mean, I'll be okay with Chargers, but the Raiders, I mean, I don't like
Yeah.
I'd
that.
be scared.
They are-
I'd never go to a game.
Oh, like that.
And what happens because they're competing teams? So
Yeah.
what happens if you know in the parking lot? I'm just saying. The first thing I thought though was how to affect me personally because I live right off the 405, just a couple of exits down. So I'm thinking on a Sunday we ain't going nowhere now.
You forget about it.
Some people are really surprised by the Raiders-Chargers pairing. A lot of people thought maybe it might be the Rams and the Raiders pairing up and sharing a stadium, but it's interesting to see that it's two big rivals like the Chargers.
Absolutely.
And, temporarily, while, they're hoping that stadiums in their own hometowns with luxury boxes will be built.
They're saying like moving the San Diego Chargers up a couple hundred miles is the same thing as the New England Patriots. It brings the Southern California in to be Charger fans rather than one specific city. In other words, in San Diego, this is a really Southern California team. So they're saying that there's more revenue to be made that way as well.
Can you imagine going from 0 football teams to 3?
I can't imagine it. I really can't. And I'm thinking but the jobs and the economy, I think we could use the boon.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I like to see a new stadium.
Yeah.
How long has it been since we've had a new stadium in
too
Los
long.
Angeles? Yeah, and there's so many advancements, so let's go for it. I'm in favor of seeing what happens as a boon. It's right off Del Alma Boulevard and the 405 freeway.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here, so that's where it is. And
Miz, there's a mall there, so you can go to the mall where everybody's
I'm
at the
not going to
game.
that mall.
but just like the USU fee referendum, they're going to send it to voters. Apparently, there's a draft bill to send it to voters to make sure they approve it first. So you'll get a chance to vote on whether or not you're going to have your powder blue or your silver and black up the freeway right there. So that's another piece of news this morning. And another one coming out of the U.S. military, and it is about how much the government is spending for Viagra.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
this is an interesting. I'll tell you, the number was going to amaze you, ladies and gentlemen, that they spent this
Really?
and how they spent it. We'll get into that coming up on the show, coming up right up next. In the meantime, we've also got a special guest in studio.
Yes, we do. We have Linda LaFave here, who's going to make you 20 years younger in 10 minutes.
She must be a magician.
Yeah.
Coming up next right here.
And we have Mr. Brian Borax from Communication Studies program at Cal State Long Beach, going to be talking about the Long Beach breakwater and its effect on the shoreline and on our beaches.
Fantastic. That's all coming up right here on Mornings on the Port.
On the beach.
Right here from kbeach.org.
K-Beach FM,
Long Beach,
88.1 HD3.
Los Angeles.
The USU is my favorite place to hang out, and other students feel the same way. But the student union is always packed. I'm constantly stocking electrical outlets, hoping to get some laptop and phone juice, but there seems to be a lack of them. And when I do find one, I have to sit in some random place on the floor. Fortunately, there's a new campaign to fix up my old stopping grounds and help students feel more comfortable while getting things done. The USU referendum campaign is here to make it happen. Because wouldn't it be nice to just walk in, sit down, and plug in? There are more details about the campaign to come. So take a look around the USU and notice what it needs, because it all starts with you.
It's Mornings on the Beach from our very special location, the LA Radio Studios in Port Sakal Village. It's great to get a little salt air in the morning.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of some stale air from the air conditioning at the USU.
And, we really have to give Mike Stark a very nice round of applause.
Hosting us today.
In his beautiful home. It's gorgeous.
I'm never leaving.
And she means that.
That's the truth.
I've already put in a change of address.
It's
What's
really
the
great.
tour?
Well, we're talking about anti-aging, and we brought a special guest, and actually Charlie did. Apparently, I'm aging quickly.
Well, we all are doing this show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so introduce us to Linda.
This is Linda Lefebvre. Come on, sit
Linda.
over here. I moved you. Yeah, I moved you. Jump on up.
Good morning, Linda. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. And this is a side business that you have, another
Yes.
specialty.
Yes.
You're also an NPC judge for
I am.
fitness and figure and
National
bodybuilding.
judge.
And she has judged me on
Nice.
stage. Yeah. So we'll get
And
her.
I don't remember. I
And
think
she's judging you right now.
6% lean. And it's Friday. I'm just putting it out there.
where'd you put it?
So you're going to reduce our age and by treating the face?
The face, the skin
Fantastic.
on the face, yes. And what it does is it's microcurrent that actually plumps up the cells and works down into the dermis, and it brings more energy. So when it fills up your skin, it erases
You
your
have such
lines and wrinkles
beautiful
so much.
skin.
Well,
You have such
thank you.
smooth and
Sure
beautiful
does.
skin.
Very
Do
much.
that to us.
She looks great.
Okay.
Please.
She's got some spackle in
How
her
long do we
hand.
have?
We'll stay on the air until I'm young enough. So we'll take callers.
version.
Should we keep going? There'll be an infant sitting in my chair at the end of the show.
Don't worry about Danny.
It's
He's got a
like-
painting in his attic of himself that'll age gracefully.
It's like Benjamin Button.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going to be all Benjamin Button.
Nice.
Very true. So basically, this is you said a microcurrent. So there will be
Microcurrent.
some electricity involved.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it comes from a battery, so it's not. It's painless.
Okay.
And
I got a car battery. Wouldn't hook up Charlie to that?
well, that would work really fast if you did that.
I need that.
So this plumps the skin from underneath.
It fills up your cells and plumps your skin as when they were younger. So you'll find that your cheekbones lift, your lines and wrinkles smooth out. Everybody's face is different, but if you use it and you use it regular, which it is a home device,
So it should be done
it
repeatedly.
should be done regular. Yes. I do probably every 5 days.
Fantastic. So you're going to work on us?
Yeah.
You want to see? Run really?
Yeah.
Who do you want to work on?
I'm going to do half a face.
God.
So that,
Okay.
so that you can look in the mirror and see.
And frighten myself.
Well,
The before and after.
because I tell you, people don't realize.
Do you want to try it on me, or who do you want to try it on?
So
I
you mean
think
they're going to
it's
have to
you.
walk to
You wanna
with
do it
your
on
left
Danny?
side showing all day? Like, oh
You should
my
try
God.
it on. I've had it, so I know what it is. But he's never had it. I think.
Yes,
we
I
should,
think we
yeah,
should do it
yeah,
on
we
him.
should do it on him.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
you can try. Well,
She better hook
can I
that up
continue
too.
the show while you're doing it?
You can do
Yeah.
the show.
Okay, well,
he
so we'll
can
be
try.
talking about that as we
Oh
go
my
along here
gosh.
and see what happens. But we'll talk about another plumping of a different sort, and this is the U.S. military. Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't.
They spent $41.5 billion on Viagra.
Well, that's
Wow.
Wait a second.
No,
wait a second.
$1 million.
Wait a
I got the wrong letter.
Wait a
$1 million.
second. 41. The
Million.
military spent $41.5 million on Viagra.
Now, this was reported last year as $500 million.
That's a stiff allocation.
Indeed. They're saying, in their defense, they're saying that all medical plans, especially those service through our veterans and military, are available, and Viagra is an option for ED. And apparently, when you're at war, erectile dysfunction becomes a problem. I did not know that. The Army said that in response to the claim that they had spent $500 million. Said, no, we only spent $41 million. I said, oops, my bad. But they also say that only 17% of those scripts were actually written for inactive duty service military personnel. It was more for people who had retired, vets, and also their families, which can get prescriptions through the plans. Okay. So, I'm telling you.
Wait. How much? What was the figure again?
41
41 and 6 zeros divided by $30 is 13 million pills.
You can hook me up for $30, Charlie?
Yeah, isn't that what it is?
I'm in.
35. I've read.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. No.
Okay, start on me now.
But see, the whole problem with that whole Viagra situation is you can get it up, but they need to have an instruction book with that because I'm just saying.
So we could call it "What to Do with It for Dummies."
Yes.
It doesn't. Yeah, because you're right.
Just because you have something doesn't mean you know how to use it.
Right.
I'm just saying.
The opinions expressed here are none of those of management or K Beach ownership.
I could walk around with a shirt with that on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. I just think it's just too much. I'm not sure I know what to do with that. Miz, this is God.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
I have no apologies, though.
You're sitting next to Charlie, right?
Yes.
Could you ask him to hook me up?
I can do that, Lord.
Let me call it. Hey, I need 10 pills at $30. Viagra.
What would God do with Viagra? I wonder.
I don't know. You know what?
There's a practical joke in there somewhere.
Here we go. But I think it's interesting that they come out with the claim that, oh no, we spent a lot less with $41 million. That I'll tell you what, that's a lot of servicemen.
Well, the only problem is, Danny, is that the way things are working at the VA, it's probably taking them about 2 years to get their prescription filled. Meanwhile, divorce has kicked in, the suicide rate has gone up.
And it finally came in. Them pools finally came in. Let's go. You know what? I just think it's another sense of our government taking care of ourselves and our military.
Yeah.
We want to take care of our military, and it has a whole new meaning, or to the letter P in PTSD.
Here's the thing, right? There's a whole lot of other areas that our government could really step up much further in, right? But they choose Viagra. So the question I ask myself is this to ensure that there are going to be plenty of good little soldiers in the future?
See? Maybe so. Yeah.
Oh, there you. Happy soldiers are good soldiers, right?
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Okay, we're moving on this one.
Attention.
Sure. I'm getting. Oh, this feels so good on my skin. She's spraying my.
Look at that.
Now she's gonna
electrify me.
It's gonna beep. Now you're gonna hear like a little beep.
Okay. I hear it.
Oh, he went to the highest level, right?
He's done.
Uh-oh.
That's the highest level. So now you're
machine
getting
right
the
there.
most effect.
So in a few seconds, you're going to hear my voice go back to 13 years old.
Hi, this is Daddy on the radio.
She's doing it to me live, and this is actually feeling really good. It feels kind of like shaving a little bit.
It's like a little.
Ooh, there's a little tingle. Yeah,
like a little tingle, right? I mean, but it doesn't.
Got
It's,
a little.
okay.
If you shave it, sometimes there's a little nick in the skin.
Oh, okay.
And the negative side of it, which is what's happening right now, you're going to feel a little sting there at that spot.
I am.
If you have a little zit, you might feel a sting at the spot. When it goes to the positive, you won't feel it again. But we got you the
really
highest.
Great. It feels. It doesn't feel like anything.
Danny
Really.
has completely
So
changed.
Linda is working
so
Danny's
docile.
face. Linda is working Danny's face with this gadget right now, and I've just got to say, Anna, if you're out there, I'm sorry. You're right. That is what that gadget is for. I'm sorry, honey.
no, Linda, what is the name? That is called a spa.
That's a galvanic spa.
There you go,
that's
galvanic spa. So it has a certain name
Feels
to
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling younger.
No, it feels.
The right side of me is feeling younger.
Yeah.
I think
Now we'll
Danny's
just
about
get
to
you some
reach into the
Viagra.
right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you only have to take half a Viagra.
So, can that rejuvenate other parts of the body? Can it be taken in tandem?
If we do that, this is going to be a parking lot tomorrow morning.
Oh, wait a minute. She said it can.
Cellulite, it can work on everything. We have a total body spa that is
Really?
made just for that.
Wow.
But
Alright.
this machine will also do it.
Can it improve my performance?
That's sweet.
Well,
I didn't say what
need
kind.
a die-hard
if
battery for
if
that.
you look younger, I'm sure your performance will be better.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
I was going to say it all
beautician.
depends on whether it's an ensemble or a solo performance.
I was talking about my radio performance. Oh, y'all dirty minds. But I tell you what, we're speaking of, we're here at the harbor, and we're here at
Yeah,
the
we
port.
are.
Two great news stories. Of course, the one we're talking about, the port of L.A., of course, and then the breakwater,
Yeah.
which we have
Yeah.
a vested interest. And I have another story I'm going to bring in regarding sea turtles that I found this morning.
Oh, really?
And our rivers right nearby.
Okay.
But first, let's talk about the breakwater, because it's an important part of our port here.
Yeah, so we have Brian Borax with us. He's with the communications. He's a communications studies major at at
Long
Cal
Beach
State
State.
University, Long Beach. Sorry, starting to talk about my alma mater here, and that's never a good
scared
thing.
right now.
And Brian's going to share with us a little bit of history about the break wall and going to talk about whether or not it's currently needed any longer
Yeah, that was
and
with the
what we
controversy.
should do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there's currently 3 breakwaters out there. There's the San Pedro breakwater, the Middle breakwater, and then the Long Beach breakwater.
Oh.
And all of them are part of a deep water protection, basically, of the port here. And they were built like back in the San Pedro and the Middle breakwaters were started in 1890s, so way back when. And the Long Beach breakwater, I'd say the most controversial of all of them, was built in the early 40s around World War II in order to protect the naval ships, the U.S. Navy fleet here. And the Navy fleet's long gone after World War II, so currently the San Pedro breakwater's protecting ships still, but the Long Beach breakwater in particular is doing nothing right now.
And so, what kind of an impact currently today is that Long Beach breakwater having on the beaches in that and that environment over there?
Well, you can see when you go to the beach, the water's really murky and trashy, and that's due to the breakwater because the LA River dumps out right there, and kind of everything hits the break wall and comes straight back onto the beach.
Oh, that's
wow.
you know, I
Yeah.
wonder why it was all trash.
Yeah, so that's that rather than it's preventing like the natural ocean current from.
Well, when the ships left, why did they just take it down? I mean, was there a good use for it at the time, or they thought it won't harm anything?
Yeah, that I think it was. There's not really a use for it in my opinion, but I think it was more just the effort. They just decided to leave it up.
So what are the concerns now? Is there a movement to take it down, or and restore the regular ocean?
Yeah, the Long Beach chapter of the Surfrider Foundation is actually the main proponent behind the Tear Down the Breakwater campaign, and right now they're in the middle. I believe they're in the middle of a economic and environmental impact study.
To see what
to
impact that would have on
determine
us,
what the cost and benefit of tearing it down would be, basically.
And you're a member of the Surfrider organization, right?
Yeah.
So they advocate, let's take it down.
Yeah, it's their main basically their main campaign they're
focus,
working
yeah.
on right now.
Mayor
So-
Garcia has been an advocate of the plan, I hear, because
Yeah.
he's been involved in moving this along a little faster. Of course,
Yeah.
our former Associated Students body president at Cal State Long Beach is now mayor of Long Beach. So I'm liking hearing that.
Yeah, certainly.
Are you gonna? Will you go out there and remove them with your own hands if they give you permission to?
If they don't tear them down, I will.
I bet you there are a lot of people that would help.
Can you see that? A bunch of surfers paddling out there, surrounding
Picking
it
up the
and tearing
breakwater.
it down like it was the Berlin
that'd
Wall
be
and
awesome.
everything. That would be great.
But you know what? If you look at old pictures of Long Beach, that one residence that's all the way on Ocean and what is that, Linden or some, it's right there. If you look at the old pictures, water used to come that
Straight
high.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that was probably one reason why they had the breakwater and for expansion. But now, like you said, I don't know. We don't. What will happen when they take it down?
Well, they
and I think you in your report, your assignment to the class that we did last semester, you talked about the impact on the actual surf itself. Did that area used to have very good surf? And if so, what happened to that surf when they put the breakwall up?
Oh yeah, definitely. Back in the 30s, before the breakwall was built, they called Long Beach the Waikiki Beach of the mainland. It had really nice, long, easy waves to ride. Yeah. They even used to have contests back here back in the days. So tearing that down, the way the beach is positioned kind of picks up the swells from the south, which occur during the summer, which could, potentially see a huge tourist boom in Long Beach.
Wow. That's what I was getting at right there.
There you go.
Because a lot of the older surfers that I have talked with and stuff, even back in the day, talked about how the surf was actually better in certain spots of Long Beach than in Huntington, which is Surf City, USA, and known for the U.S. Open, for example.
Well, we're south facing here, and I think that makes it better if the waves can get there.
It does.
Yeah.
There we go.
It definitely picks up the swells that come during the summer. Way better than anywhere else around here. So,
and those who want to be involved, how can they find more information about Surfrider?
Surfrider.org. Go to the Long Beach chapter, and they have a link on there that links you directly to the campaign and tells you exactly how you can get involved.
Fantastic. I know that we're like the harbor of marine life here, and I just found out that on the San Gabriel River that comes in off of the Alamitos Bay there, they're finding green sea turtles hibernating up in there because they're saying that the water from the cooling plants the cooling plants suck in the cold and then return the cooling water is from the generators that it's cooled down. The warm water goes back into the channel and it attracts them. At least that's the thinking of it. However, other rivers that have other power plants next to them don't have green sea turtles in California. So they're wondering why this river and why Long Beach? Well, we just said it because Long Beach is a tourist attraction. And, these turtles they want to be here. But apparently, and there's a program over at the marine, what is it called? The Aquarium at the Pacific.
Yes.
If you want to volunteer and go help them take care of turtles, because they're finding a lot of them get tied up in the garbage and it's the fishing lines. They do that on weekends. You can get involved. I thought that was amazing. But they're saying that the cooling plants are set to stop cooling by this method in about 2 years. And so the studies want to know what's going to happen to the sea turtle population that thrives on the warm water there. Will they be set elsewhere? What's the population doing here in the first place? I think it's a great, and I know our oceanography program over at Cal State Long Beach is huge. The Shark Tank program as well. Yeah. Huge in helping, and a lot of students are involved in the green sea turtle operation. So I think it's kind of nice.
That sounds interesting.
But interesting to find why they're here. Yeah. Usually they hang out in tropical locations, not California.
So does that mean that our water is getting warmer, maybe?
I would say so. I would say at least we know why because of that cooling plant.
Right.
But is there another reason that they're migrating to Long Beach? Yeah. So interesting news analysis this morning. I saw it on kpcc.org and wanted to ask you guys about, have you been around that marine life? Apparently they're quite prolific out there. There's a lot of them.
I think Professor, what's her name, Una Lassiter could probably answer that question.
We should get her on the show.
Yeah, I'll have to get her on.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to get out there and just I like helping animals. And there was a video on their website about people, regular old volunteers, untangling fishing wire and then releasing them back into the warm water. And I think that's great. I love seeing that. I love seeing us taking care of our ocean here. And the fact of the matter is, you can volunteer on Saturday mornings to go pick up garbage on the beach if it annoys you.
As a matter of fact, you can just grab a bag and some gloves anytime. And head on down there. But here's a tip for our K Beach listeners. Yeah. If you organize a family beach cleanup, for example, at Bolsa Chica State Beach, they will cover your parking and give you all the supplies that you need.
Really?
So the next time you want to go have a nice little family barbecue and bonfire, volunteer to clean up the beach during the daytime. couple few
awesome.
hours, and then have your little bonfire and your little barbecue at night.
I think that's fantastic.
All on the state of California.
Oh, that is
Do your
really
part.
cool. I like that. I like hearing stuff like that. That'll help you out with that.
All right. Well, we want to thank Mr. Brian Borax for that interesting
Thank you for
information
having
about what's
me.
going on out there with the break walls and the breakwater, and hopefully we'll see some restoration to the natural wonder that
I
is
hope
the
so.
ocean
I'd
and
like to
its
see
meeting
that.
of the shoreline.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Brian, for
Great
being
stuff.
here.
Thanks,
thanks for having
It's
me.
morning. Let's check in with Linda. She's actually working on my face right now. It feels fantastic. I just want to
I
lay
think we
down.
could ask Danny for anything right now.
You
Give
should.
it to
She's
us.
listen.
It is relaxing.
She is making Danny look so much younger. AARP has just texted me and wants Danny to turn his card back in.
Welcome. This is Mornings on the Beach. My name is Danny Lemos.
Little Danny Lemos.
And we should say you guys can log in and look at us. We
Yeah.
are on video.
Please.
It's laradiostudio.com
Oh, my.
and click on live video, and it will come up on
In
the
fact,
screen.
I have a caller on the screen right now. who's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, just see my baby face.
Normally we would let that sit on there a little bit and permeate
For
it
Central
with skin,
Air.
but you know, like when you marinate a steak.
Oh, and there's plenty of steak on that face.
Yeah,
let me
there
tell you
is.
that. Oh my God.
Just like the cheese.
Too much. I'm loving this. It feels really good.
Yeah, it
And I feel
is.
younger on my right side.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do I
just-
look that
it's-
way?
Yeah, no, it does something to your skin. I don't
does,
know how to explain it.
Oh, wow. And you're right, Miz. I'm going to have to walk with my right side out. This is actually, you're doing my good side. That's
Yeah,
my good
that's
side.
your good
yeah.
side.
We're making
For
it-
radio.
We're making it better.
That's really fantastic.
Are you
beautiful
supposed to
on a
look like
radio
Tommy Lee Jones in Batman?
I want you to smile once.
Okay, that's
See
on.
the difference where his cheekbone is?
Yeah.
Can you really?
Oh yeah,
It
the
is
line.
higher.
The line. Look at the
Fantastic.
line, guys. See
Yeah.
it?
It brings you.
I
the
love
cheekbone
it.
Wow.
back where
It does.
belongs.
That's amazing.
Is that something?
Yeah.
Is it
On
really?
The other side,
It is.
Otherwise, I look like a paralyzed victim.
Here.
A stroke victim.
This side. Well, don't pull your. Just keep your face normal. Yeah. From this side of his chin,
Yeah.
and then swivel to that side of your chin.
Oh.
It pulls the chin up.
You can look like this the before and after.
And
Lines are open now.
with the saggy eyes,
Oh.
it makes a big. All
I'm going
right.
to punch you.
Not referring to.
You're talking about
Ding,
me.
ding, ding, round one.
Saggy
Okay,
eyes.
see, his eyebrow is actually higher up on his side. It might have been before because I didn't have a photo of it before.
No, it
Don't
is.
pull it
Yeah.
up. Just
It is.
relax.
Is it higher?
Just relax.
I feel
Yeah.
somewhat,
Yeah.
tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
you will feel tighter. It'll feel warmer.
Oh my God, I can't
And
my
it's-
lungs won't work.
It will last up to 8 days.
No
Anywhere
kidding.
From 3 to 8 days.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, great. She's going to charge
And
me
now she'll
25
try.
for the
I was about to say 500 to do the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or any other body part.
I love it. Oh, really? Oh, it can perk up other body parts.
Girl, you better get that Viagra, and you got 2 side businesses now. Work it out.
I'll tell you
Danny's calling to check if his military benefits have kicked in yet.
Check that out for sure. Scientists have found, by the way, there could be life on the moons surrounding Venus. This is something coming on up. Or
Really?
Jupiter. Sorry, I got the wrong planet. We'll get into that coming up on the show. Next up here also.
Also, coming up on the 12 o'clock mix show, we have a very special in-house guest and your chance to come join. I'm looking for 4 listeners to come hang with us in the studio at 12 noon. Details, keep it locked.
Right next here on kbeach.org and
KBH FM.
88.1 HD3.
But I know I'll never get to love land unless I'm wrapped up in your arms. Got to take me with you. Please take me with you.
All right. All you have to say is, this is Miz representing. All right. Go ahead. Give it your best shot.
This is Miss Representing.
Cut.
I can representing.
Cut.
This is Miss Representing.
Cut.
This is Miss Representing. This is KBH Radio.
that's Monday night at 10 o'clock right here on KBeach. And she's right with us right here. Miz is
Yeah.
representing herself
Miz.
this morning and her show. You have been hanging out with a lot of law enforcement lately.
Yeah, you know, the other day the LAPD called for Miz, and I said, "One moment, please."
Again.
I like it.
I have history of this. Remember, we walked one time. I had to go pay a parking ticket.
Yeah.
And she was
I heard this
frightened
story,
to
yeah.
death to go in there with
I
me.
don't know why he was so scared. I was like, what's wrong with you?
As we came out of the building, she said, "This is the first time I remember my family has come out the front door."
See?
Nice.
Without the car running.
But talk about your special, because this really is receiving a lot of
Great,
attention.
great
Christian
special.
Wiseman, of course, helping you produce it. Christian,
Yeah.
you guys are doing such a fantastic job.
Thank you,
And
thank
the
you.
subject matter springs off something that was a big news story back about a month ago. I'm thinking, wow, it's only about
It's
6
been-
weeks ago.
It's been a while now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
But it's recurring stories.
but she's asking the questions that you yourself want to ask, perhaps.
Yeah, the series is called Life Behind the Badge, What You Don't Know About Being a Cop. And I created this series because I just felt like there was just an unbalanced, view of the police officers, and in a negative way. And I just believe that, and actually through doing this particular series, I have come to the conclusion, and this is my personal opinion, that this is the most acceptable form of bigotry throughout the United
Seriously,
States.
explain a little bit more about that.
I mean, you can't go around and say, I hate Jews, I hate blacks, I hate Mexicans. You can't say that, but it's okay to say, I hate cops, just as a blanket statement, and that's based on what's going on in the news, maybe where you grew up and you've had some negative interaction with them, but as a blanket statement, it's acceptable to say, I hate cops.
Right, it sure is. And
Yeah.
I know people do it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Unchecked, and I just thought there's got to be something wrong with this picture, because in the news, you see a lot of negativity about all types of people. Let's say black people. When you see people on the news, it's usually at their worst.
Right.
And with the police officers, I just felt like that's not indicative of the majority of the police population, and it's not.
Tell me about something you found out that you didn't know about police work by interviewing them personally.
Personally, I found out that it's a calling, just like ministers have a calling. All the officers that I have spoken with, they say that it's a calling. One guy, he couldn't even stand cops, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he said, but there was something in
About
him.
law
He said it
enforcement.
was God or something, and it led him to be an officer, and he just had to do it. And he feels like this is the greatest job ever. The other thing I found out is that they feel like, and this is across the board, when they put on that uniform, that they're an automatic target, an automatic bullseye. So imagine every day waking up knowing that you're going to probably have somebody in that throughout the day cussing at you, flipping you the one finger wave, all kinds of things. That, and also you're going to have to, help these people eventually.
Right. And Christian was your producer. Christian, were there any insights that you had while you were helping produce this?
Well, I know I've generally had good relations with police. I grew up with police. My dad was involved heavily with volunteer programs, and so my experience was good. But what I didn't know is that, like Ms. says, it's a huge calling. I mean, and that each officer, they actually do. Sometimes they go out their way. It's not actually in their specific job description. Go out and help the public. One example was that in the shows we aired last week, one of the officers said that there was somebody sleeping on campus, and they went and actually bought them a room for that night because it was pouring down rain.
Whoa, you don't hear
And-
about that often.
Yeah. And this stuff like this goes on all the time. For
Wow.
every
Yeah.
negative deed that you hear, that's probably like 2% of the entire police force. And then you have the other 98% that are really just doing. Oh, and the other thing that was interesting was how they have to do this unusual balancing act, very delicate in dealing with bad cops. Because if you have a dirty cop that's on the force and they have any inkling that you might snitch on them, or you're, taking notes about their, maldiscretions, that can put you in a compromising
Oh, I bet.
position. So let's say you're out on a call
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, I need some backup. If that dirty cop is in the area, he's not going to take your call. So you just by yourself.
Wow.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, I've certainly had my experiences with law enforcement across the state, and for those of us who were in the criminal element back in the day, you play the game 365 days a year, and then eventually you lose.
Sure.
You know, and you find yourself arrested and incarcerated and all these things. And I always took losing in stride. You know, I knew that eventually one day I would lose, and that they'd have a job to do. And so I've always respected law enforcement.
You did know that one day, like the odds would run out for you?
Yeah, I knew that one day I would lose, and then when they released me, the game would start over again, and then I would lose again, and so on. And that's the way it went for 28 years. But it is a thankless job.
Oh, absolutely.
And it is a job where there is a lot of fear, not only for the officer themselves, but for their families, especially in this day and age.
Right, of course.
And this hit close to home for me during the Christopher Dorner case, because my brother-in-law is retired Harbor Division, and he was one of the individuals that was named in the manifesto.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as they got their hands on that, even though, you know, my brother-in-law and his wife, and also retired law enforcement, live in a different county than Los Angeles County, they had 5 squad cars and 5 officers surrounding their home and staying inside the home until they had finally caught up with Christopher Dorner.
Wow.
Just because they had worked together years ago.
Right. If I can flip for 1 second with another topic, cams on cops. In favor of this, you think?
Oh, they're absolutely in favor because they said the good cops have nothing to hide.
Right.
And what I also found out is that if someone is taking video, that they can take that camera from someone, or that cell phone or what have you, and, you know, bring it into police evidence. They don't care if you have some other questionable photos or something going on, and they don't care about that. They're only
can
talking
take
about
your phone in and delete. Hang on.
No, they don't. No,
They don't want Danny's phone.
No, go ahead, Christian.
They also want you to also get the encounter. They want you to get the whole thing. They don't just get the ending part where you see if the officer takes this person down. They want the
that'll be interesting if that comes up as a case where you have the video taken by the civilian, and then they show all the video taken by the policeman, tell you the whole story. That would be interesting to see that finally speak to cops and their behavior.
Well, you know, the other thing I thought that was really interesting was they were saying how I could never understand why a cop would say, okay, I need to cuff you. I'm not even doing anything. Why do you need to cuff me? It's for their safety and your safety. And I think it was Jason from Why'd You Stop Me, said that one of the best ways to alleviate a situation is that if both or all parties involved just show their hands.
You know?
That is just a simple idea, but I never thought of that because if hands are what creates the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, just that simple, right?
Well, that's interesting because in the jail and the prison system, for example, whenever you're around a deputy or a prison guard, you're supposed to have your hands behind your back.
That's crazy.
So that's interesting that the exact opposite thing, I mean, and I understand why, it should be that way. But I still find myself, when I'm walking near a law enforcement officer, I find myself putting my hands behind my back. I'm still kind of conditioned that way.
Wow.
And perhaps I need to maybe reevaluate that.
I wondered if they like being called cops, because I was always told you should call them police officer.
Oh, officer.
Did they say anything about that?
I didn't actually discuss that with them, so I can't speak to that, so I don't know. But they didn't have a problem when I was calling them cops.
I know we as the media, we're looking to grab listeners, and sometimes some people will say things and do things just to grab a headline. And I know for you and for all of us on the show, we've talked about maybe we were a little harder on the police than we should have been. Has that changed your personal opinion in any way?
I don't think I've ever really been hard on
I don't want to
cops.
say hard, but we've all sat and talked and told stories, and we see one side of the video. We don't. It's like you said, they want to see the whole video.
You know what? And I'll put it like this, the most honest way that I can, being a person of color, being a black person, when I see all this stuff on the news about black people, I know that's not about the majority of the population.
Yeah, right.
And I felt the same way about officers, and that's why I created the show. I mean, I've had some people say, oh, you just one of those cop lovers.
Right.
And,
Really?
and I've had someone at our station even say, I'm not going to even listen to this.
Seriously? They don't know your history.
Well, here's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been off parole for 6 years now, and I've found that, you know what, if I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not surrounded by cops
and
anymore.
That's what they said.
Isn't that amazing?
That's exactly what they
Or
said.
unless you're Miz, and you'll be surrounded.
Oh, and they were good looking.
Or now I'm the designated driver at the retirement parties.
Yeah, because I will say this much. The interview was going very professionally, and at one point I just got overwhelmed with all the handsome deliciousness in the studio.
In a uniform.
And I just stopped. I'm like, excuse me, I'm going to be unprofessional, but cuff me, cuff me, cuff me.
Take me into custody.
I want a copy of that tape. Where is that tape?
I left it in the broadcast.
Oh, darn.
She is talking about, you were mentioning, Why'd You Stop Me? The organization. We're going to have a guest on Monday.
Yeah,
Jason's coming on in to talk to
Jason
us.
Lehman of Why'd You Stop Me? And he's a Long Beach police officer who bridges the relationship between the community and the police.
Fantastic. And episode is coming up Monday night? Are we having another episode of?
I'm working on the episode. Christian and I, we haven't edited it yet, with Chief Luna of the Long Beach Police Department, which was thank you, Chief. It was a great interview. He was just very conversational and forthright, and we talked about the 9 principles of the Peelian process. So Peelian, look it up. And this was written in the 1800s, and it's a document stating the 9 points of being a police officer. Well, basically a police officer or policing the community. And what's great about this, and I had Chief Luna speak to number 2 and number 5, so look that up on Google.
Oh, she's giving you a teaser for the show.
And it was about shared responsibility, which I think all of this is a shared responsibility, because when you point, you have 3 pointing back at yourself. So as much as we want to say the police, what are we as a community not doing effectively as well? Because I can think of when I was growing up, we were always involved in something positive in the community. We interacted with the police. I remember going to the doggone policeman ball and being bored. There's not that same sense of community and partnership with our officers that used to be. Oh, and one thing that I never thought about that Chief Luna brought up was that, number one, they've been doing a great job at Long Beach Police Department. They've had over 400 community outreach activities last year.
Whoa.
400.
Wow.
So if you are complaining about the police department, then you go out to one of these 400. And they have more scheduled this year. So you go out to any of these symposiums and you voice your opinion. And they took some heat on the last one that was in January. They took some hard heat. And they addressed the issues that the community wanted. You have to get involved. We have to get involved. So
start by your involvement with Monday night at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Miz representing right here on KBH Radio. You'll hear more. I'm riveted by it all.
Yeah, and you can listen to it if you click on KBH and click on the badge.
On the Mixcloud there, you'll be able to find it. Great, excellent.
Yeah, something interesting I've always seen among some of my friends who did nefarious things in the past was that when a cop let them go, they were a good cop. When they took him into custody, they were a bad cop. So if he didn't do his job, he was a good cop. But then when it's happening to somebody else, if the cop didn't do his job, he was, there's kind of that double standard.
And pet peeves, people, please don't pull up to a cop and ask them directions. Just don't do that.
GPS.
Yeah, just follow him for a while.
No, don't do that either.
It's Mornings on the Beach here, the special broadcast for Mornings on the Port of Los Angeles right here, our very special guests. And my face feels fantastic.
Yeah, you feel younger?
I just want to caress your face,
I do too. I'm sitting here going, it feels good. So the treatment done now. The first treatment on that side's done.
That's done. Yes.
It feels really wonderful. It really does. Not only just it's relaxing. There was no pain involved, and I feel tighter on one side.
Well, it'll make your pores smaller.
That's great.
It has the ability because it cleans out the things that are in your skin.
So it makes it smaller.
That's the first process. So it makes the pores smaller.
Good. Keep that away from below the
process,
waist. Thanks.
Remember, there's some current involved there.
You know, baby, you're
Some
talking.
people are into that.
Some people like
But
that.
you know what was
Saucy.
cute? What was cute was while she was giving Danny the treatment. You know how like you rub a kitty cat's face, and they just kind of purr.
I was purring.
Yeah, Danny just kind of purred.
His legs started moving like a dog who is being scratched.
All right, it is a Friday. We're getting you set for the weekend. Of course, coming up at 12 noon, we have Nova Space live in studio with us. Here, I'm going to make it easy. The first 4 people show up K-Beach Studios. You'll get in the studio. We'll do photographs. We'll hang out. We're going to jam.
Cool.
12 hours. Live nonstop mixes starts at 12 noon. Nova Space EDM artists live with us in studio. K-Beach Radio.
We have about 1 minute left, so I'm going to say goodbye from the Port of Long Beach. We'll see you in a few minutes at Cal State Long Beach. My name is Danny Lemos. Thanks to our guests today. We have Brian Borax right here.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Linda
Lefebvre.
right here.
Linda,
Thank
who
you
looks
so much.
fabulous.
You do, actually.
She looks great.
And
Papa D. Dale Lendrum here.
Ms.
Charley Sharp.
and back at the radio station,
This is Christian Weisman.
we'll
Like
talk
Friday
to you.
afternoon, things get a little challenged.
All right, you guys have a
weekend.
super weekend. We'll see you at 12 noon on the Mix Show.
See you at the Oscars.
Take care of each other out there.
Bye.